is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. What we're going to do today is one of my favorite things to do. It's called a juice off, and a juice off is where I literally compare two different machines side by side and juice the same amount of produce in each machine to find out which juicer will reign supreme and yield more juice for the given amount of produce. So first, I'm going to introduce the two machines we're going to use today. On this side, we have the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center, and on this side, we have the Lexen Healthy Juicer Electric. Now, both these machines are called single auger juicer machines, and what that means, there's a single auger in there that basically turns and rotates at a low RPM. So both these machines run at approximately 80 RPMs. So both these machines run at a low 80 RPM. So that means it's low and slow. And when you have a low and slow juicer, it's going to preserve more of the nutrition in the juice. High-speed juicers can add extra oxygen into the juice to basically degrade some of the nutrition in the juice. So I like that both these machines run at a low RPM. Now, the single auger style machines are generally best for juicing things like wheatgrass and leafy greens. While they may juice other things, they're not known for their capacity for juicing carrots. For example, if you want to juice a lot of carrots, the centrifugal ejection style machines actually do a lot better in yield wise compared to these machines. And I have other videos on YouTube you can check out to learn how the different juicers work on different produce items in other juice offs. But let's get back to today's juice off. We're going to compare both these machines side by side. Now, while I did say both these are single auger machines and they run at a low 80 RPMs, that's where the differences end. Because on this side, this machine is built a little bit differently than any other juicer on the market aside from its little brother, the handheld or manually operated healthy juicer. This one has no juicing screen, so we can go ahead and unscrew the front here. And you can see in here, all there simply is an auger. There's no juicing screen. So you might be thinking that's a design unlike any other machine. So the thing is, when you put the produce in here, it gets smushed up in here. The juice is squeezed out. And in this housing here, if you look very closely, there's a little trough in the bottom of the housing. And the trough basically flows the juice back out this port right here, which then goes through your collection cup screen. So there is a screen, it's an external screen, and basically goes in your collection cup. So for something like wheatgrass, I could see how this would work amazing and work phenomenally and work really well. But for something like, carrots, for example, I don't know how it's really going to work because the carrot pulp might get stuck up and absorb some of that liquid back into it and maybe not work so well. So in general, I recommend this style machine or the healthy juicer style machine for juicing things like wheatgrass or mostly all leafy greens. This machine also does come with a separate auger. So this auger here is the green auger. This is for wheatgrass and other leafy greens. And it has a little bit different shape auger for juicing fruits and other hard and firm vegetables. In addition, this machine is a multi-purpose machine. It'll also make baby foods, nut butters, and frozen fruit sorbets. So that's actually a nice feature on that. Let's go ahead and reassemble this guy really quick, really simple, real easy. You're just gonna go ahead and put this in, turn this little collar to the lock position, put in your auger, put that down in there, it goes right in, then you're gonna put on your end cap. Now the end cap has threads on it, and you're gonna wanna screw that in. And you're gonna wanna tighten that up fairly tight. Now they do give you a lock wrench, a hand wrench. You can use to tighten this up if you need it. But if you're a strong guy, you could just go ahead and muscle it in there. So over on this side, this is the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center. This works a little bit different. Once again, we have a end cap, which actually you just put in and turn into place, so there's no twisting. It's very easy to assemble and disassemble. Next, we have the juicing screen. Now, the juicing screen is the hardest part to clean and actually takes the most amount of time to clean on any juicer for the primary reason of the juicing screen holes. So the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center is a two-stage juicer. On the initial crush, as produce enters the machine, juice is released out of this stage, number one. Then the produce goes along this stage and gets crushed out further down here, and more juice comes out, stage two. So in general, I find this machine actually makes a higher yield than some of the other single auger style machines on the market. Once again, inside here you have a single auger. There's only one auger in here and one screen. You also do get a blank screen, which is similar to this, but it's a solid piece that will also allow you to make baby foods, nut butters, frozen fruit sorbets and extrude pasta shapes. Actually, both these allow you to extrude pasta shapes out of cooked food pasta, not a raw food pasta. So you got to make a pasta dough out of flour and whatnot and feed it through the machine, and it'll basically make the long pasta strands. So next, let's go ahead and reassemble this machine. We put the auger back in. Next, we're just going to put the juicing screen in and then rotate this on. So you just saw that this machine had a screen, this machine didn't, and I want to mention that both these machines on the table are the easiest to clean machines in the world. This one takes me under a minute and a half to clean, and this one is even quicker. This is probably under a minute, and if you're really quick, you could probably just rinse all the parts out within 30 seconds. So besides the way these machines work, and that this machine has no internal screen, and this machine does, and both of them include an external screen if you want to strain out your juice further and you don't like pulp in your juice. So that next thing that you might want to consider before purchasing a juicer is how long is the warranty. In my opinion, a juicer is an investment, and it's an investment in the most important thing you have in your life, your health. Because think about it, without your health, you don't have nothing. You can't enjoy anything. You can't enjoy your family. You can't do anything. So a warranty to me is really important, and it's important to me that you buy a machine with a long warranty, because that is your investment in your health, and your warranty guarantees that your investment will last. So I'm proud to say that the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center has a 10-year warranty against manufacturer's defects. So if anything should break due to manufacturer's defect, it will be covered for the next 10 years. And on the Healthy Juicer Electric, I'm proud to say it has a 50-year warranty on the motor only. So and on all the other parts, it has a 1-year warranty. So that is a major difference. 1-year warranty on all the parts versus 10 years on everything. Now, 50 years on the motor sounds like it's really good, but I want to be upfront and tell you that the motor is the least likely thing to fail on any juicer. So I think that might be kind of gimmicky. But in any case, besides the warranty, you also may want to consider the price. And on these two machines currently, this machine is approximately $50 less at the time of making this video. Of course, prices are subject to change. So in any case, without further ado, let's get juicing. What we're going to juice today is organic baby spinach. This is 11 ounces of pre-weighed organic baby spinach in each of these. We're then going to use our measuring cups and check out how many ounces of juice each juicer creates. Then we're going to add some fun. We're going to juice some cucumbers after we juice all the spinach to see how much and how good the juicers perform when juicing cucumbers. First, let's go ahead and start on this side, the Healthy Juicer Electric. Both these machines run at approximately 80 RPMs, so they're relatively quiet, so they won't wake up your friends or family members or roommates if you have to juice really early in the morning or late at night. So let's go ahead and turn that on. We're going to go ahead and take this cover off here, all the spinach, and there is our 11 ounces of spinach, and we're just going to start sticking this in the machine. Both machines come with a nice little pusher that you will need to use to push things like baby spinach in the machine. As you can see, we're not quite getting any juice out of this machine yet. We're getting some pulp out of the end. Now the juice does come out the bottom, and the pulp comes out the front of the machine. Now I want to encourage you to juice your leafy greens. Leafy greens, in my opinion, are one of the most important things that we should be juicing because of the chlorophyll content and because of all the micronutrients and phytochemicals in the leaves. Leaves and leafy greens are some of the most nutrient-dense foods on this earth, and you should include some in your diet each and every day, in my opinion. So you can see here now we're finally getting a nice stream of pulp, and all the juice is now coming out of the machine. As you can see, the juice that's coming out, it is a little bit thick, so it does contain some level of pulp. So it's a good thing we have that additional screen on there to catch some of that additional pulp. Of course, if you want to drink the pulp, you can drink a pulpy juice. Nothing wrong with that. And pulp is pretty much just, like a preference if you like pulp in your juice or not. So when you are juicing your leafy greens, I'd highly recommend that you rotate your leafy greens. So what that means is that today I'm juicing spinach as my leafy green. Tomorrow I might juice dandelion greens. The following day I might juice kale greens. The following day I might juice lettuce greens. The following day I could juice some bok choy greens, and every day you want to juice a different green. Don't get stuck on making the same juice recipe day in and day out. If you do that, you're only going to get a limited amount of nutrients, because in, say, spinach, for example, spinach has certain nutrients that kale may not have, and other phytonutrients that kale may not have, and vice versa. So it's definitely good to get a well-balanced and well-rounded variety of foods in your diet. Alright, so we're about halfway done juicing all this spinach. Looks like it's working really well. So if I take a look down the feed sheet of the machine, I see like a lot of juice and foam like rotating around in there. Looks like we got some, pretty good juice in there. So far, so good with the Healthy Juicer Electric. So we're just about finished juicing the spinach. I think I got like one more handful after this. Alright, and that's all the spinach. Looks like all the juice is done dripping out. We're gonna let that sit and chill out while we move over to the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center. Let's go ahead and open this package of spinach up, and let's get juicing. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this machine on. This one sounds like a little bit more quiet, not much. I mean, they do run both at about 80 RPMs. This one has like a more silent hum. Another difference between these two machines is where they are built. All right, there's the noise. So when juicing, it can get a little bit noisy. So both these machines are built over in Asia. This one actually is built in Korea, and this one is from China. And if you are curious and do want to buy a juicer made in the US, there actually is only one juicer, to my knowledge, that is still made in the good old USA, and that is the Champion juicer. So you can check my videos for the Champion juicer with greens or wheatgrass attachment, because in general the Champion juicer will not juice leafy greens that effectively unless you purchase an additional attachment. Alright, so now we can see the Omega 8004 Nutrition Center is juicing all this spinach, and we're gonna see how well it does. Also, we're gonna get to compare the pulp afterwards and the amount of juice that each juicer creates. Let's go ahead and feed some of this spinach into the juicer. Now you can see I'm using this pusher to push the spinach down. It does take a little bit of force to push the spinach in the machine. Not that much force is necessary. Now if you put a few leaves at a time, it's going to be a lot easier to push in than if you try to cram like a whole bunch of leaves down in there at once, like I'm trying to do. And once again, when feeding produce into the machine to juice, you want to feed it at a slow and moderate and consistent pace. You don't want to just try to cram a lot in there and keep cramming a lot. You want to put a little bit now, a little bit later, and take your time, when juicing. Now I want to describe, that these machines are called single auger style machines. They run at a low RPM. They're single auger, horizontal auger, and they work relatively well on juicing leafy greens. Now some juicers, like the centrifugal ejection style juicers, and those are called the high speed juicers, they run at a really fast RPM, and they are actually not that efficient at juicing leafy greens as these machines are. So if you want to focus and juice a lot of leafy greens, which in my opinion is a really good idea because they are the most nutrient dense foods on the planet, you want to definitely go with a low RPM single auger style juicer or twin gear juicer. So I think we're about halfway done juicing the spinach in the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center. Let's go ahead and continue to juice some more. Now, while I am juicing straight spinach, I don't necessarily recommend that you juice straight spinach. I'm doing this for testing purposes only and to show you guys how it works and how much yield you're gonna get. In most cases, most people do not generally juice straight spinach juice and drink it because it can be very strong and detoxifying, and you may have some negative reactions such as bloating, stomach aches, and or diarrhea if you're not used to it. So what I'd recommend is that people juice 75% of the glass with non-greens, so things like celery, cucumbers, carrots, apples, romaine lettuce, hearts, another really good one, Even things like zucchini can be used as a base of your juice. 75% of your juice of base, and only juice 25% of your glass in the dark leafy greens or any leafy greens, because once again they can be really strong. You need to kind of build your system up to handle straight leafy green juice. Alright, so we're almost finished. We have a couple more handfuls of spinach to juice in the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center, and then we're going to get to check out the results. So I think this is going to be my last little bunch of spinach in the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center, and then we get to check the results. Alright, there you go. So we got this container all empty. Once again, this was 11 ounces of organic baby spinach. And we're going to let that run for a second, let it drip, and see how much juice we get. You can see the juicer is still working, so it's always a good idea. Once you're done juicing, don't just turn the machine off and say, okay, I'm done, I'm going to drink it. Let it run a little while after you're done putting everything in, because sometimes you'll still see some juice dripping out. And the juice dripping out is the reason why you're juicing. The juice that you're making in your own juicer at home is better than any bottled or canned juice in the store, because this is made fresh with fresh produce. Now the fresh produce has more nutrition in things that have been pasteurized, bottled, and packaged up. So there's a full complement of enzymes and nutrition, and the highest quality nutrition that you could get literally on earth by juicing the leafy greens. So I think that's pretty much done. We're gonna go ahead and turn this off. Next, let's go ahead and check the pulp. So you can see the pulp that was generated on the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center is here, and the pulp generated on the Healthy Juicer Electric is right here. So we're gonna go ahead and put these down. We could grab the pulp out of this. Let's see, I got pretty much all the pulp in my hand here, as you can see. And we're just gonna take this in my hand and squeeze. And I'm squeezing, I saw 1, 2, 3 drops of juice squeeze out, but it's pretty daggone dry. And next, let's go ahead and check the pulp from the Healthy Juicer. All this pulp here. Gonna go ahead and put that in my hand and squeeze. And whoa, man, check it out. There's a lot more juice left in the pulp of the Healthy Juicer. A lot more juice. I couldn't even count the drips because it was almost like a stream rather than drips. So now that you saw the pulp was wetter on the Healthy Juicer Electric, what juicer do you think yielded more juice? So if juice is in the pulp, that means it's not actually in the juice catch container, so there's going to be probably less yield on the electric Healthy Juicer. But let's find out. So let's move this pulp aside and pull these guys out. And we could check the screens on each machine. So the screen on the Omega, you can see has like that much pulp, and on the electric Healthy Juicer has that much pulp. One of the things I like to do is tap these down a little bit to get a little bit more juice out of them, because the pulp on top of the screen is actually fairly wet. You could also scoop this stuff up and eat it. It's fine to eat. It's well broken up spinach in this case with some juice in it. We're gonna go ahead and set these two guys aside, and now we're gonna check the juice. So this is the juice from the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center going into our measuring glass. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we're petering out there. We got like basically 6 ounces of juice and about 3/4 ounces of foam after juicing 11 ounces of spinach. I think that's actually a fairly good yield. Next, let's go ahead and check out the Healthy Juicer yield. Now this juice has no foam, so actually that's really cool. Pour this in there. 2, 3, 4. All right, so we petered out at 4 ounces. So you can see here, the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center made 2 extra ounces of juice. So actually that is considerable in my book. So now that we know which machine yielded more when juicing spinach, we're gonna add some cucumbers to the mix and see which juicer yields more when juicing cucumbers. So we have a couple of cucumbers here about this similar size and shape. We're gonna go ahead and first juice those in the electric Healthy Juicer. 1 cucumber right down the machine. Now I like juicing these baby cucumbers because they'll fit right in the machine without any cutting. You can see here the pulp is coming out immediately, and actually so is the juice. Looks like it's working fairly well. Let's go ahead and at the same time turn on the Omega, 2 juicers at the same time. Right into the machine, and that is also juicing right up. Now in most cases, if you are juicing 2 things like spinach and cucumbers, you wouldn't want to juice all your spinach then all your cucumbers as I'm doing now. What you'll want to do is you want to juice a handful of spinach, a cucumber, a handful of spinach, a cucumber. That's just going to work a lot better than juicing all your spinach then all your cucumbers. Let's go ahead and go for 1 more cucumber in each of the machines. All right, I'm a 2-handed juicer here. So we're gonna let these machines run for a minute. As you can see, both machines are working fine. Let's see, the healthy juicers definitely created a lot more pulp as it sends out of the machine because it doesn't have a built-in screen to screen some of that out. The screen is literally on the outside of the machine. Let's go ahead and turn these machines off and shake down our collection cup a little bit, try to get some of the juice off this screen, especially on the healthy juicer because this screen is actually really full of pulp and juice. So there, we've shaken that down a little bit. Next we're gonna do the same on the Omega. Shake that down a little bit. Next we're gonna pour our juices in and see how much additional yield we got from adding 2 cucumbers. So once again, we have about 6 ounces of juice on the Omega, and let's add this cucumber juice from 2 small cucumbers back to 8, 9, probably at about 9.5 ounces of juice total. Let's go ahead and add the cucumber juice. And actually, you know, it looked like it actually did do a fairly good job. It juiced the cucumbers. I see a little bit of pulp in there, but it looks really good. And actually, there's no foam. That's because it was all caught by the additional strainer. Pour this in. We originally had 4, we're up to 5, 6. Man, that's about a little bit over 6, maybe 6 1/4 if we're lucky. So the total yields are 6 1/4 ounces with the healthy juicer electric, and we have approximately 9.5 ounces in the Omega. So that's probably approximately 33% more juice. The next step is let's do the taste test. We're gonna taste this one first. Wow. I don't recommend doing that at home. That's actually a really strong juice. But that being said, it was virtually pulp free and had a really good mouthfeel. Let's go ahead and taste the juice made with the Omega. That has a very similar mouthfeel as long as you get past the about 1 ounce of foam layer on the top. Pretty much the same consistency. So I could only say these machines produced about probably the same quality juice because they run at the same RPMs, although the Omega produced more quantity of juice because of the built-in screen, whereas the electric healthy juicer didn't quite fare as well. That being said, if you are looking for a dedicated wheatgrass juicer only and you don't want to have to spend the extra money for the Omega, I would definitely say go with the Lexen electric healthy juicer because on wheatgrass you're not going to get any pulp in the juice because on wheatgrass, because the grass blades are long, you're not going to have this pulp issue. You're just going to get solid and good and high yields with the electric Lexen healthy juicer. Now if you want to juice a little bit of everything, including wheatgrass, leafy greens, celery, carrots, cucumbers, then you might want to go with the electric Omega juicer. Because of the built-in screen, it basically just will yield more. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode learning more about the electric healthy juicer and the Omega 8003 Nutrition Center. I am John Kohler from DiscountJuicers.com, and be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.